I have mentioned this game to a few of my friends before, like once or twice, but I haven't actually made a full video about this until now, since I don't think any of you guys are even well aware of this franchise. Well, okay, well aware of me knowing about this franchise. World's End Club is a great video game. It is a mobile game, but you can get it on PS4, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch if you actually want to. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Instead of just me giving off my current thoughts or whatever, I actually want to give you all a bit of an origin on how I even found out about World's End Club, because it's actually a very interesting story. Plus, I haven't honestly beaten the game. I've done a bit more after the Game of Fate, and that's pretty much it. And also, this game can be forgotten to me, but otherwise though, I do still love World's End Club quite a lot. So if you just want to skip to my current thoughts on the game, or even the franchise as a whole, then yeah, go ahead and click that bookmark. But if you want to actually just stay up until the very end, then that's fine. But for those who are just waiting for me to talk about how I first experienced this game, then that's the bookmark coming up. On May 27th, 2022, OneUpBinge actually made a video about mobile game heroes, good the most good. And around this time, I got into Bluey. So I finished that video, front to back. However, I was genuinely surprised when they actually revealed the most good. Okay, spoiler alert, I guess. Skip like 10 seconds. But the most good in that entire video was Pochi from World's End Club, and I was blown away and surprised, and this already made me very interested in the franchise. And from that moment onward, I became a fan of World's End Club. And Pochi is my favorite character because of how freaking wholesome he is. And later on that year, I actually managed to snag a copy of the Switch edition. Or Nintendo Switch edition, in case anyone wasn't actually sure of what I was talking about just now. Although I did play the demo before I bought the physical copy, but still, I had a great time with the demo alone. And that's pretty much it on the origin story. I don't really have a ton to mention other than, yeah, I found out about it from a video, and I've never even heard anything about this game until finding that video. So sorry if this origin story wasn't exactly too much, I guess, if that's a way to put it. But overall, that's pretty much it. So now let's get on to my current thoughts. So, like I mentioned, I haven't finished the game yet, but I can at least give you my current thoughts of where I'm at. I know it's somewhere after the Game of Fate. The character designs, graphics, everything like such all look great. The beginning part of the game is interesting, and I don't really have a ton to talk about it because I honestly forgot about it. So you actually play the main character, Rachel. So, you know how I mentioned earlier in the origin story where, you know, Pochi? Just go check that out real quick. In that video during his ranking, Rachel actually isn't a human, but rather a robot that was actually being controlled by Pochi. Yeah, I know I should probably save that till like maybe the very end if I were to do a full in-depth game analysis, but you all know I can't really do that. I mean, I wouldn't really have a ton to talk about anyway. But yeah, Rachel is the main character you do play as, and here is the full cast of characters. Pochi, who I literally just mentioned like multiple times by now, Chuko, Kansai, Nayaro, Genu, Tatsune, Aniki, Mochan, Pai, and Vanilla, and later on you do get to see Yuki. Although, if I have to be honest, the Game of Fate is probably just the most iconic part of the game for me in my opinion. It's just the easiest part to remember, because it's an underground part in the ocean. I think that's a cool setting right then and there, and no, that automatically doesn't make me love it. It's actually how the game is. Penelope, who is also a part of the Game of Fate, and is somewhat of an antagonist. She actually controls the entire game, so that way the entire group have to actually do their tasks. However, if they fail these tasks, or for whatever reason, they'll actually be sent to a sludge bot, although in the end, they never actually got turned into sludge. Anyway, now I'm sure you may be wondering, what exactly is the reward if you actually do make it out? Well, win, exactly, and actually do your task, you'll get a master key that can unlock anything, which Penelope immediately suggests to Rachel about leaving. Although Vanilla is actually the only one, well, okay, all of the other two people left near the end of the Game of Fate, by the way, who actually convinces Rachel to actually open up the sludge bot. And everyone who is actually a part of the game is actually alive. Sorry, I'm kind of going out of order here, so yeah. Anyway, so what exactly happens before that, though? Well, some characters do seem pretty fine for the most part in terms of them being sane. Like Pochi and Rachel teaming up. Pochi doesn't have any evil intentions or anything. He actually works well with Rachel. Well, then again, though, this could just be because, well, he was controlling Rachel the whole time, but still, he would probably do that with anyone else who wouldn't double-cross him. However, some people like Aniki can be absolute assholes. In fact, Aniki is the biggest example of being close to being called an asshole. That's a lot for me to say right there in terms of the word being. He's the reason for some of the people to even a fair amount of the people actually getting captured and taking their wristbands. Now, there are a few times where Pochi and Rachel do try to sabotage other contestants, and that's about it. But other than that, the game kind of explains itself somewhat if you were to actually play the actual Game of Fate, better than the description I'm actually telling you. So I guess we could cut to the ending where I actually mentioned everybody escaping the sludge bot. While everyone was pretty much under the influence of just trying to survive, even Aniki does apologize. Penelope, however, doesn't take this very well, and Aniki even kicks her to the ground. Like, literally, it's funny. However, the windows in the room the gang were in actually start to crack and water starts to flood in. There is a prop scuba diver's helmet that actually falls off its display from the ceiling and lands on the floor. And Rachel, who finds it incredibly heavy, actually throws it to the prop submarine, and it actually lands. As everyone gets in just in time, the entire place floods, and they actually make it to the shore, no problem whatsoever. They actually all live. And like I did mention, there's a bit more after that I did play, but I legit don't remember the point of. But for right now, at least, I do really like the story. The characters who are not being assholes in the Game of Fate are actually kind of memorable. Mainly Vanilla, Choco, Pai, and kind of Aniki, even though I do love his hairstyle. Tatsu and Mochan are pretty cool too. And I don't really know what else to mention. There is a free demo if anyone is interested. Well, at least on the Switch that I found out, like I mentioned earlier. It is just the Game of Fate and the cutscene after that, so no more, no less. But if anyone is interested, then you could check it out and you'll probably get a better description of what I'm trying to tell you. And that's pretty much it. I don't really have a ton more to talk about since I just want to do a quick video for World's End Club, so there you go. So yeah, I don't really have a ton more to talk about, but maybe I'll do a follow-up video if I absolutely feel like it, so I guess keep an eye out for that. But keep in mind, only if I really feel like it though. If I don't, then it might not even come out at all. We'll see though if I want to make another video about this game again. But with all that said, I'm Colin Astro Healer. I'll see y'all later with whatever we do next time, and that'll be all for now.